Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome back to MCubed. As always, I am Schmook, and we're here to talk about, again, what I think is the best show currently on television. Um, of course, we had the beautiful episode 5 that came out a little bit early before the Super Bowl. So we had to wait a little bit longer to get to this episode, right? And I think this, to me, outside of the prologue, like seeing everything just go, go to shit, right? Um, this has been the best overall episode in my mind, because this is where you get like so much great dialogue between all the main characters. Um, Specifically, the Joel stuff is so brilliant in this. It's nice seeing it, like Ellie and Joel like just have different human interactions with people we haven't met yet, besides Tommy. Um, the Joel and Tommy stuff I thought was absolutely gold. And again, I thought it was a step. What am I trying to think here? Basically, this is quite different compared to the game, where in the game, like they're in the small, like the dam, where even in this episode where Ellie's like, oh, that used to make electricity. He's like, yeah, don't ask me how, because I have no idea. It was great. In the game, that community is at the dam, where in part 2, that's where we find out this is their community. But I guess they're just deciding to set this community up right away, which is cool. But regardless, there was something just so special about every piece of dialogue in this, where it just feels so real, like everything that's said. I'm like, this is like unbelievably human, like dialogue. Where again, in most shows, it feels very scripted. Where in this, it's like, yeah, obviously. But my favorite 2 scenes in this episode were Joel talking to Tommy and then Joel talking to Ellie. Where I love like Joel just not seeing Tommy in forever, and the first thing they do is like they just go and sit and have a drink and discuss everything about Ellie, how she's immune, and Joel is terrified of how he's feeling about her. Because like at this point they've been together, like they've been walking from Kansas City for months, and it's winter time, so like all they have is each other's company. So they've obviously grown very, very close. And what kills me is where Joel's just like, Tommy, like, I don't trust myself. I don't think I can protect her. I need her to be with you. You have to take her. Because he's like, I literally can't breathe half the time. Like, he's having anxiety attacks. He can't sleep. But he's like, he's scared because he lost the most important thing in his life, and now he's actually finding something like that again with Ellie. Just someone that he has unbelievable chemistry with, and they just both love each other, right? He's terrified. He's terrified of that. Just the whole scene of just Joel just breaking down crying. Like, Pedro did a phenomenal job in that scene. Yeah. But then we got, to me, I think one of the best scenes in this entire show so far, where it's just Ellie and Joel just just having that conversation where Joel's like, I have to leave. And Ellie's like, all right, well, you're just a coward then. And like, all that. But she drops the line where she's like, I'm not her, And I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, this scene is almost identical to the video game. And it hits so hard where Joel's like, you are so close. I'm like, he's close to like even swinging, because like, you do not mention the person I love most that I failed to me. And like, she's like, I get it. I've lost people too. And Joel's just like, you have no idea what loss is. And it's like, the way Pedro delivers it, I think it's so good. It's so good. But it just gets to a point where he's like, I can't, I have to leave. I can't be around you anymore. He's scared. He's terrified. And then just the line where he's like, you're right. because she, like, even Ellie, like, Bella does a great job in this scene. It reminds me so much of the video game where, like, this scene's, like, identical. She's like, everyone who I've known has either left me or died. And then Joel just drops the beautiful, the absolutely beautiful line being like, you're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell am not your dad. And it just hits. It hits so hard. I think it's just, I think it's a remarkable episode. Like, there's just something so natural about all this dialogue where I'm in love with it. Like it makes me care about these characters so much more, where it feels so real. Obviously in this completely fictional setting, and also I will say I think this was like the best looking episode. The cinematography most of the time is like gorgeous. It's just showing shots where you get the snow, you get these mountains, and it was like, man, like this. It's like, imagine like if The Walking Dead had this type of cinematography and like production budget, and that's what I'm witnessing. It's like, wow, they put so much heart and soul into this. So basically, after that whole scene with Ellie and Joel just talking, he's like, all right, peace. And then I just like how I'm almost immediately like, all right, fine, we're gonna roll together still. They excuse me. But that's after Joel like having a night where he's just like, you know, he gets to think about it a bit more. He's like, all right, she's right. I care the most about her out of probably almost anyone else in this world. I probably am the guy to protect her. So like, all right. And then just almost right after that, they go to this school, this university, and the random raiders come in and just mess up Joel. He gets stabbed. Where it's different from the game. Where in the game you get, obviously a little bit more action there, where there's more gunplay. But then Joel gets messed up. I think he gets an arrow shot. I'm trying to remember, but I know in this he just gets stabbed, and it's wild though. Because Ellie's like, we gotta go. So she helps him up, gets him on the horse, and they're able to get away from these random people. And then eventually he collapses, falls off the horse, and Ellie's terrified. It's like, don't leave me. I can't do this without you. And then it basically cuts. And I knew, again, I can tell perfectly how they are setting up this entire show. Where I knew that they were going to end it this way. Because next week is going to be a whole flashback episode with Ellie doing the whole Left Behind DLC. With her and Riley, as well as like how she was in school, and I think it's gonna show her mother as well. So we're gonna have to wait we're gonna have to go through a whole episode just of flashback and building up to get to know Ellie, to get back to like what happens to Joel. And when we get to that episode, you're gonna see Ellie be awesome, like be able to take care of herself and Joel. But then she gets into some trouble, and Joel's gonna have to be the man and step it up. And even though he's hurt, I can't wait for that episode. It's gonna, like, people are gonna be like, "Whoa, this is dark. This is scary." And then we're gonna get to the last episode where you see Joel make the ultimate choice, and people are gonna be blown away by how this series ends, or the season ends, because of course we're gonna get part 2, and that's gonna blow people's minds as well. But ultimately, I think this episode was brilliant. I think episode 5 potentially had the best ending of any of the episodes, where it's obviously the Sam and Harry stuff, which is just powerful. But this has something about it where it's just every single piece of dialogue, I'm like, man, it's like me just talking to people that I have insane chemistry with and know personally. We're just like, you're just talking about nothing but everything at the same time, where it's just like you're both so locked into what each other has to say. And I felt that way when Joel's talking to Tommy. I just see it as like real people, like real ones, and that's why they're some of the last ones alive. They're just more intelligent. They understand the world, and that's what I love saying. I also liked like Joel just saying stuff like, When they get to the university, Ellie's like, "Oh, it's people in school." He's like, "Yeah, but honestly, it was more about partying more than anything." Because like, did we really even need this at the same time? Because you still have to figure out who you were. And it's like, I think any of us who have been to university are like, yeah, you're just figuring it out as you go. Um, yeah, like again, there's just so many different pieces where I'm like, wow. I love just Joel talking to Ellie about like, what the world used to be, and teaching her, and she's like, you should teach me how to shoot sometime. And then the scene with all the guys surrounding him, and then like the dog sniffing Joel, and he's like, dog jumps up on him. But then the dog goes over to Ellie, and he's terrified. He's like, she's infected, but the dog does the same thing, just like, but she's like, she's playing with the dog. I thought that was cool. But yeah, basically, this was one of the better episodes overall. I think it might be the best one overall in terms of just pure dialogue, because not a whole lot happens. Besides, honestly, Joel meeting Tommy and, or reuniting with Tommy, and then Joel getting stabbed, which leaves him bleeding out. So not a ton of action in the episode, but like they did so much with getting to know these characters more and starting to love them and understand who they are as people, which I really loved. But I think that's going to do it over here, guys. Hope you enjoyed my comments. Overall, this was a very spot-on episode with a lot of different scenes, but they are able to expand it with stuff that was never in the game that just hit really hard. But yeah, that's going to do it though, guys. As always, I'm Schmook. Check in next week for episode 7, where we're going to be discussing Ellie and Riley, and I look forward to that episode. By the end of it, people will be like, wow, Ellie's been through it too. Just like Joel, like when we see how he lost everything, she lost someone very close to her too. Right? I will see you guys very soon, and have a good one.